Hello. I'm trying to not say that I'm very excited about today's session. So I'm going to say that I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with Sonia, who is this incredible person. She is an artist, she's a performer. You must have seen her in a bunch of BuzzFeed videos. She's a super funny person, celebrity, right? And overall, like, the kind of fashion influence and fashionista that we need. And if you're not following her already, please do yourself a favor and do. Her content is best. Oh my god, she's here. And if you see that I'm like really nervous and awkward today, it's because I'm also a huge fan, so just bear with me. Okay. I also like sing when I'm awkward, so yeah. You'll just see me like super awkward today. Hi!
Hi!
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm literally just wearing a sweatshirt over my maxi. So you just called me a fashionista and I'm like, brother, मैं तो घर पे maxi पहन के बैठी हूँ.
That's the kind of fashion advice we need. That's like incredible. Sweatshirt and maxi, brilliant.
Thanks for unnecessarily flattering me over there.
No, not at all. So many of my friends were so excited when I said that I was going to be doing this with you. And in fact, like, a friend commented on the post saying, when are you all starting? Like 7:30 isn't coming soon enough. So,
Nikita is also a friend of mine from Twitter.
Right. Well, my friend, so we'll pretend like, that's all.
Yeah, हम सब तो same circle में हैं.
Cool people are in the same circle.
Obviously, and I count you as part of that. I couldn't hear you. What?
Sorry, I said, yeah, I'm talking over you because I'm nervous. I said,
no,
I love your lips.
Thank you.
Please, बताइए details. Let's go.
It's Nykaa's Mischievous Plum. It's my favorite lipstick. It was the first one I'd ever bought. First or second one I'd ever bought with my own money. So I keep going back to this lipstick. It's one of my faves.
I was just gonna ask if this is an ad, if this is a plug, but okay,
no, not an ad. Not an ad. I wish Nykaa would pay me. I am a loyal member. Seriously, please, Nykaa, pay me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on board and wanting to talk about body, sexuality, and humor. I thought that you would be the perfect person to talk about these topics because, yeah, obviously, like, stalk you every day, right? And your whole approach to having conversations, these very important conversations around these topics, is not didactic at all. It's very rooted in pop culture. It's fun. It also kind of makes you think. Something that you shared the other day was, I think, when something like 2004, Inshallah Boys played well.
Yeah.
Girls played well. And I mean, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Saying, oh, we have equality, which you are saying, like, we must have equal wages, and there is value in that kind of activism as well. But I really enjoy, like, your brand of spreading these messages through, like, joy and laughter, but then having these important conversations.
Yeah, I think it's training to begin with, because I worked with some of the smartest minds on the internet. People like Rega, Nirali, Iman Sheikh, Shayan, Srishti, like I could name every single person in my office, and all of them had some role to play in the way all of our minds work, how we react to situations. I think it became like a very instant thing that if something is happening, the instant reaction is to make a meme. And I used to suck at making memes, but it became a thing. It became like so deeply ingrained that now I see things and I'm like, meme. Like, that's a meme. That's a meme. Now it's just training at this point. So if it helps I used to suck at making memes.
I love that you talk about humor as training, and often people think that, oh, somebody just had a natural flair for this and they just got lucky, or they're doing regular things and they're famous for that. But there's a lot of skill and there's a lot of effort that goes into it. There's a lot of research that goes into it, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, of course, there are some people who are like ridiculously talented, but I think what happens is what practice does is that it just helps you figure out what will help spread a message better. Like, for example, one of my favorite things that we had done at BuzzFeed was Rekha had created this quiz. How privileged are you? Everyone likes taking BuzzFeed quizzes, and that was a very like basic, very rudimentary way of like looking at, you know, privilege. And it still didn't address a lot of privileges, like you know, the layers of caste privilege, the layers of class privilege, the layers of gender privilege, the layers of sexuality privilege. While it still didn't touch all of that, even like a basic idea of, oh my god, like why am I scoring this high on the quiz, I think really helped. It's a good way to spark a conversation for sure, and I think that's what training does. Training teaches you how to get a message across without being preachy, without without boring someone. And I think that's what happens, right? Fortunately or unfortunately, people are not going to listen to you unless you're entertaining them.
Correct.
And that is, it's a problem, but I don't think it's a bad thing to be entertaining while you're talking about something that matters. Like, we can't be taking ourselves too seriously all the time. So humor, I think, like helps just ease the awkwardness. I remember I was on a call at work the other day, and someone on the other end, potential client, had asked if humor was, because everyone's using humor as a way to spread a message or like as a coping mechanism. Do you really think that works? And I said, but if it's an awkward topic, if it's a tough topic to talk about, the easiest way to break the ice is humor. The easiest way to get through to someone is humor. Talking at like language and humor are the easiest ways to break the ice. And if that works, then why not?
Absolutely, why not? And since you spoke about employing humor to spread a message, I'm also curious to learn from you as to how one can reclaim their narrative about their body or their sexuality by using humor. Like, I will often resort to like a lot of self-deprecation. And that is a way of like, oh, you can't make fun of me because I make fun of myself.
I do that too. Like, for example, I used to do this really often, and I still do this a lot, but I've not had human interaction for a while, so I don't remember the last time I did it. I remember sometimes I just like, someone would just like throw an insult at me, like, oh my god, you're such an idiot. I'm like, yeah, you're right, I'm an idiot. And then they don't know what to say. They're like, no, but I was joking. I was like, no, but right, because the thing is, when you have anxiety, anything that someone tells you, you have already thought, and you've thought an exaggerated version of it already. So that's a different way of looking at it. You can't insult me because I insult myself on a regular basis. So self-deprecation definitely helps. It's not feasible. It's not going to help in the long term, obviously. But so, like, I think what I've realized is body positivity, or like extreme positivity, is not just toxic, but again, not feasible. It's not something that can be done in the long run. I think, to begin with, just acknowledging that, okay, this is this is a reality. So if we're addressing fat, for example, I am fat. Just saying it, I am fat, okay, and I am fat. Like, continue. That is one of it. But that's it. I think starting there, I think acceptance is one. The second being body neutrality as a concept. I think I've had severe body image issues. I still have severe body image issues. You know, I just got a cut of a video that I was supposed to do, and the first thing I did was, instead of just looking at the content to see if it's okay, the first thing I did was point out every single flaw on my face and on my body, or the way I was sitting, the way I was talking, the way I was rolling my eyes. I criticized myself way more than I looked at the content and thought and thinking to myself, hey, that was a good script to write. No, I went straight to deprecation. I think instead just accepting that, okay, this is my body works. It works, it does the job, helps. It is a starting point. I think a lot of people find it hard to even get there. Like, my body works, my legs work, and of course it is still like a very ableist space to be in. Yeah, it's still a very ableist space to be in, which is why it's so hard to get into body positivity. But at least, if not neutrality, if not saying my body works, at least accepting, okay, this is a fact, and not like operating out of fear or not operating out of assumption is much easier. So instead of saying I am fat and hence a piece of shit. No, the fact is that you're fat. Yes, correct. You're a piece of shit. Depends. We'll figure that out. Are you a homicidal maniac? Then maybe, yes, you are a piece of shit. But otherwise, very rare occasions that someone would be a piece of shit when you get to know them.
Yeah, oh, true that. No, I love that. And it's also so difficult, Sonia, in the light of, you know, how we are, if you have a non-normative body or sexuality, the way you are represented in media. And I think BuzzFeed does a fantastic job with that.
Yeah.
It's like different kinds of people who look like, which is fantastic. Then you're like, okay, great. I can relate to what's happening. I can relate to the story. It also feels like my own. And I think that's part of the reasons why it works as well. So, and you often see that, you know, a fat person or a person with disability, whether it's physical or psychosocial, or, you know, a person who's queer, it's just a caricature. It's just there for comic relief.
Or tokenism.
Yeah, or just tokenism, right? Like that one who will eventually die. Like all queer characters will eventually die, or like something.
Yeah. And I think Supernatural fans just saw that last week. I'm not a Supernatural fan, but like I saw this trending and I was like, how are more of you not mad about this? It's 2020. Stop burying your gays.
Correct. So, and you talk a lot about mental health, you talk about Bollywood, you talk about body image as well. So how does one, in the light of all that, then continue to like love themselves or say that, hey, like I'm going to accept my body, or I'm going to like start loving my body or see value in my body, when you're the comic relief?
Because I am not a joke in my life. I think I take myself lightly enough to be like, okay, it's like, what you're saying is not a big deal. I've already said that to myself. But also at the same time, I value myself enough to say, you know what, I don't want to watch that. I think another thing is curating the things I watch. If I'm not going to watch something that's going to make me feel shit about myself, I'm not going to follow people who make me feel shit about myself. That, and most importantly, therapy. I've been in therapy for 5 years, and And even today, literally, I still talk to my therapist and say, hey, I have a problem with emotional eating. I eat my feelings. Every time I have a shit day, I want to binge eat, and then I feel like shit about it. I feel guilty. I have so much trauma associated with movement, because even though I enjoy dancing, for example, I find it so hard to get myself to move, to exercise, because there's so much trauma associated with it. How do I break out of those things? Those are still things I'm working on. And it's just a work in progress. What the least you can do is just control what you watch, control what you follow, control what you search for, change your parameters or like change your criteria of what good body or good mental health or worthiness rather look like. Those things come with time. Those things come with learning to value yourself. Those things come with therapy. Those things come with age, maybe sometimes. I mean, age is I think the bottom of all of those, but it does come over time, at least for me. Yeah, I definitely value myself more than I did 5 years ago when I started therapy. So that helps. I mean, I can definitely look at the mirror and say, I like you, you're cool, and like not cry.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that helps. Yeah, and see, someone's actually asking in the comments, like someone can't have access to things like therapy, and that is exactly the problem. That is the problem. I'm not saying that's not a problem. But the thing is, it's necessary. It's not going to. It's a systemic issue. Therapy is gaining therapy or like having access to therapy is not an individual issue. It's a systemic issue. We talk a lot about mental health now, and it's great. But I think a lot of us still find it very hard to understand the importance of it. I know people who very actively ruin my mental health on a regular basis. And I have to see them post World Mental Health Day updates and think, तुझे तो बाद में देख लूंगी. You know, and that's how life is. Unfortunately, therapy is inaccessible. There are a lot of people who do it at nominal rates, but of course then there's the fear of like literally, as Rahat has said in the comments, it's so hard to find a safe space. You could find a space that's affordable, but would it be a space that caters to your very specific needs? You know, those are again very, very, very different issues, very difficult issues that I don't have a solution for yet. No, and
we're not expected to know the answers to all these questions either. And therapy does work, but therapy is also work. You need to show up each week or once a fortnight or whatever your situation is, and you need to put in the work. And not all sessions are going to be great.
Like for example, my last 2 sessions, I have just left the session feeling like messier because I am now confronting things that I wasn't able to confront at the beginning of therapy. I'm confronting new things that I had buried and forgotten. So I have to, like, therapy is messy. It's healing is not linear. It's not going to be like up constantly, but it's more like you are able to deal with the older problems better than you are able to deal with the new problems, which is a huge thing. And exactly like you said, people should have to put in the work. Literally the horse and water thing, right? Like you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. There have been like when I initially started therapy, I used to try to like tell my friends, please go, because I felt the change in my life. But I realized that till they wanted to make that change, till they wanted to,
Correct.
put in that work, they weren't going to do it. And
Correct.
when they do make that choice, I think what you can do as a friend is just be like, okay, what next? Or what do I need to help you with?
Right.
That's, I
Right.
think that's the least you can do.
Absolutely. And something that you said before was also that even when you go to therapy, even when you're in this process, even when you've started to accept your body, it's
Yeah.
not like you've accepted your body and it's done.
Yeah.
It's a choice you wake up every day. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, maybe look at the mirror and say, yeah, you're that bitch. And that's something that's a commitment that you make to yourself
Yeah.
every single
Yeah.
in the face, like all the issues that we spoke about. Is there any final message that you want to leave our friends, fans, and family members with before we end the live?
Uh,
Answer that question, maybe.
to answer,
Answer the question as to how to be as cool as you. Give us some
there
tips.
is no, the only way to be me is to be born as me with a very specific brain that works strictly on anxiety and depression and and reacts to.
Depression. What else? What else do I need?
So there's anxiety,
I will also
anxiety,
get that.
depression, childhood trauma, Bollywood movies, zero relationships. I have zero relationships. I've never been in a relationship. I think that is baggage I have lived without, which helps.
Right.
No, I am not saying literally, but I think.
I can't stop being the host, so I guess I can't be
Yeah,
anything.
so okay, but like jokes aside, I genuinely don't know how to be cool. I am very awkward in social situations. I actively run away from them. I choose to stay home. Lockdown, touch wood, has been great for me in that sense. But if I did have to say something, I'll tell you something that my best friend told me in college, which was that say exactly what you're thinking.
Hmm.
Just like do not lie to yourself, even if you're lying to other people. Even if you, and by lying I mean probably to protect them, probably to not hurt their feelings, you're being tactful or whatever, but do not lie to yourself. No
Hmm.
matter what, like do not deny yourself the truth. If you if even if no one knows the truth, if you know exactly what's happening, there's no chance that you will be that you will be able to like live a false life,
Hmm.
because that then you're immediately living a life of authenticity. You're not lying to yourself. You can be
Right.
tactful, but just say exactly what you're thinking.
Right. Right. That is fantastic. So, like, the way to be cool is to be like authentic and honest with yourself. Yeah,
Yeah,
we can try.
yeah.
Yeah, things
Yeah,
go good.
and I know it sounds like cliched advice, but think of
Oh
it
no.
this way. Think of it this way. The next time you tell yourself, no, actually I'm fine. No, if you're not fine, tell yourself, no, I'm not fine, and this is why I'm not feeling fine.
Yeah.
And like vocalize it probably. And
Yeah.
yeah, confront.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah, this
currently.
that's advice that scares a lot of people, but I think it's the only way you're going to
Hmm.
be able to live with yourself.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
show. We don't have a name yet. Please name the show. And yeah, this is amazing, and this will be up on IGTV for people to watch later. And yeah,
I have
thank you.
I have I have I have a name for the
Oh my
show.
God.
We can call
Abhi,
it बहुत we can call it बहुत सारे रूपा.
oh, okay, fine. We'll go with it. We'll go with it.
We'll go with it. This episode is called बहुत सारे रूपा.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, sold.
Thank you. I will text you thanking you very awkwardly after I end this live.
Yes, don't be awkward, please.
That's what celebrities say with all this.
Please get an actual celebrity and then call me celebrity, please. I'll be celebrity only when I get paid for being famous. I'm not getting paid for being famous yet.
Yet.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.